What up? What is up? Okay, so some of you may not know, but when Crystal and I left the church, it was just a matter of weeks. Crystal said, I don't think it's true, and then we realized that it wasn't true. And then we called my parents like 2 weeks later, told them we were done, and then we left. Just ripped the Band-Aid off. Well, I as I look back on this over 2 years later, I spent 8 consecutive months studying doctrinal issues, everything I could get my hands on. I read loads of books, I listened to so many podcasts, and I was in a unique situation because I don't have a job, and so I literally spent every waking minute doing it. I was obsessed, I was consumed, and it was crazy because everything, nothing I learned convinced me more so that it wasn't true. I already knew it, but for some strange reason I was telling myself the more I knew, the more I could convince others that it wasn't true, or the more believable I would be. Maybe the more validated I would feel. I don't know. There's some psychological thing going on there. I hope you guys can hear me well because there's cars here. But here's the thing. I wasted a shitload of time. It's a goddamn shame how much time and energy I wasted. So my question for you guys would be this. If it's not true, then what? Is it useful? Is it useful to invest all of that time? Now, I get that there's people who are they're enamored with history, they're enamored with, the whole, like John DeLynn, these kind types of people, they are so fascinated with the psychology behind how it came to be and how it operated and how it operates now. I get that. I support that. I've never been the type of person to stop and read historical monuments. It's not me, okay? I don't dig on that stuff. How in the hell did I spend 8 straight months studying all of that information? How? And I want that time back because it wasn't useful for me. Now you might say, well, that was part of your process, and you just have to trust that was, necessary. No, I think I was operating from a place of insecurity. I think that the reason, hi Sean, my friend over there in the UK, I think that I was operating from a place of insecurity, and that I just needed I felt like I needed to, when the time comes, I need to be able to recite all this information. Bullshit. You do not. There's enough resources out there. You don't owe anything to anybody. So I want to tell you to live, to get on living. And it doesn't mean that you don't need support. We all need support. And in fact, you'll find that there's nothing like the camaraderie with people, like-minded people that are in this group. The camaraderie, it's so fun. It's fun to talk about. Like, I got a call from my friend Jeff, we were mission companions, and we essentially left the church at the same time. He was like 2 months after me. We talked just 2 days ago, and we were going on and on about all the stories and all the good times and all the bullshit. It's so fun, and that is very useful. That is very useful. But if you find yourself... See, let me give you a different way of looking at this. Personal development. You can get stuck in a cycle of personal development. I've been around personal development for 20 years. You can get stuck in this nasty cyclone action of personal development where all you do is personal development, but then you don't actually live it. You don't actually do the things that they teach. Like, I know thousands of people who have spent fortunes and decades on personal development, and they're not any better for it. You'd be better off applying the things that you learn. You don't even need to know it all. Like, learn a couple principles, but actually apply them. That's where it'll actually be useful. Is it useful? And that would be what I'm trying to tell you about the church. It can become an obsession. If it's entertainment, I'm not going to knock that. I still find it entertaining, highly entertaining. So I still listen to Mormon stories. I still check in on Reddit. You know I'm in this group because I love the relationships. But I do not care about doctrinal issues anymore. Try to talk to me about them. I don't give a shit. Try to tell me something about, now if they announce some policy, that will trigger me. If they announce we changed this, and if they do something like that, that'll trigger me for a moment. Still, I'm not beyond that. But try to talk to me about church history. Try to talk to me about changes in the Book of Mormon, the Book of Abraham. Try to talk to me about any. I don't give a shit. And even if an active member was like, hey, can we talk about that? I'm like, hell no. I ain't got the time. You can go read about it. There's plenty of information and resources online. I don't care. I wonder if any of you feel like that. That's how I feel. I'm not saying I'm right, because this is just my opinion. But I'm speaking from experience. I want those 8 months back. I want those 8 months back. And I feel like the church took those from me too. Not only did they take 20 adult years of my life, they took that 8 months from me, because I felt so insecure that I spent 8 straight months all fucking day studying the church. They owned me those 8 months. That's my opinion. So if you're stuck in that cycle, start living. Start living, because the sooner you start living, the sooner you leave all that behind. And I'm telling you right now, that is what is useful. Otherwise, you're stuck in that cycle. Please don't get stuck in that cycle. If it's entertaining, it's useful. If it's building relationships like this group, it's useful. If you find you're just mentally fucked and stuck, they own you still. Does that make sense? That's what I wanted to share. I hope that's helpful. I sincerely mean it. Bye-bye, guys.